I always knew something was off about Lisa. We had been married for 8 years, solid years, or so I thought. We had a nice home, no kids, her choice, and enough money between us to live comfortably. She worked long shifts as a nurse, and I ran my own business from home. It worked out, or at least it seemed to. But then little things started piling up. The late nights, the sudden interest in going to the gym, though she never lost a pound. The way she kept her phone glued to her hand, sleeping with it under her pillow. And then there was the lingerie. Lisa never wore anything special for me anymore. Yet our credit card bill showed expensive lace sets from boutiques I didn't even know existed. I wasn't stupid. I knew something was wrong. But it wasn't until last week that I saw it with my own eyes. She had left her suitcase open on our bed, half packed for her work conference in Miami. I don't know what made me stop and look. Maybe it was instinct, maybe just dumb luck. But when I did, my blood ran cold. Inside, tucked between her neatly folded scrubs, were two costumes. One was her old nurse uniform, the kind hospitals had phased out years ago. The other was a nun's habit. And beside them, like a silent confirmation, was a fresh, unopened 12-pack of rubbers. She wasn't going to a conference, she was going to someone. My hands curled into fists. My pulse pounded in my ears. I could have confronted her right then, thrown her lies in her face. But no, that was what a fool would do. Lisa had been playing me for who knows how long. It was my turn to play her. So, while she was in the shower, I took the package of rubbers and carefully, meticulously, poked a few tiny holes in each one with a sewing needle. Then I slid it right back into her suitcase, exactly where she left it. Let her have her fun. She had no idea what was coming. Lisa and I met in college. She was the kind of woman who could walk into a room and own it without saying a word. Long dark hair, striking green eyes, and a smile that could melt a man where he stood. But it wasn't just her looks. Lisa had this confidence, this effortless charm that made her the center of every conversation. I wasn't her type, at least not at first. She dated the jocks, the smooth talkers, the kind of guys who knew exactly what to say and how to say it. Me. I was studying business, quiet, a little rough around the edges. I didn't chase after women. I figured if something was meant to happen, it would. But Lisa, she had a way of making a man want to break his own rules. We started as friends. Late-night talks at the library turned into coffee dates, and before I knew it, she was laughing at my dumb jokes and leaning in closer every time we talked. It took a year before we got together, and when we did, I thought I had won the jackpot. Lisa made me feel like I was the only man in the world. The way she looked at me, the way she held my hand in public like she wanted people to see, made me believe I was special. We moved in together after graduation, got married a year later. Life was good, or so I thought. She was the one who didn't want kids. Not yet, she always said. Maybe in a few years. Then a few years turned into, I like our life the way it is. Every time I brought it up, she shut it down, said I was selfish for trying to change things, so I let it go. And now here I was, standing over her open suitcase, looking at a pack of rubbers that weren't meant for me. The injustice of it burned. All those years I spent building a life with her, trusting her, sacrificing for her, and this was how she repaid me. I had put my dreams on hold for her. I worked from home so I could be there when she needed me, and in return she was out there playing dress-up for some other man. I clenched my jaw so hard my teeth ached. But anger wouldn't be enough. I needed action. The next morning, she kissed me goodbye like she always did, her lips soft, her scent familiar. I almost laughed. If she only knew what I had planned. As soon as she was gone, I got to work. I went through her phone bill first, found a number that popped up more than any other. Late-night calls, quick texts in the middle of the day. I called it. A man's voice answered. Yeah? I grinned, but there was no humor in it. Congrats, man, you're gonna be a dad. Silence. Then, what? You heard me. Tell my wife she's homeless now. I hung up before he could respond. Then I packed up every single thing Lisa owned, Her clothes, her jewelry, her makeup, even her stupid little decorative candles, and stuffed it all into my truck. She wasn't coming back here, but I wasn't done yet. I had one more stop to make. Lisa's lover had a wife, and she deserved to know exactly what kind of man she was married to. I pulled up to their house, knocked on the door. When she answered, I could tell she already knew something was wrong. Maybe it was my expression. Maybe it was fate. "I think you should see this," I said, handing her my phone. The video played. Lisa and her husband tangled up in each other like they had nothing to lose. Her face drained of color. Then, instead of breaking down, she looked me dead in the eyes and said something I never expected, something that changed everything. She didn't cry, she didn't scream, she didn't even look surprised. Lisa's lover's wife, her name was Meredith, just watched the video with an eerie kind of calm, her fingers tightening around my phone like she wanted to crush it. Then, without looking up, she said, "So, you finally know." Something in my gut twisted. Finally, I stepped back. "What do you mean, finally?" Meredith let out a slow breath and handed me my phone. "You think this is new?" She shook her head, almost pitying. "Lisa's been sleeping with my husband for over 4 years. 4 years. I felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. "You're lying," I said, but it came out weak. Meredith let out a bitter laugh. "I wish I was." She crossed her arms. "She's not the only one, you know. My husband's got a habit. Lisa's just his longest-running toy." My blood ran cold. Lisa wasn't some lovesick woman who got swept up in an affair. Number. She knew. She knew he was a serial cheater, and she still stayed. But why? I had to know. I left Meredith with the evidence she needed to burn her marriage to the ground, then drove straight to the airport. Lisa's flight wouldn't leave for another 2 hours. I parked and waited, and then there she was. Wheeling her suitcase, her phone in her hand, smiling like she didn't have a care in the world. I stepped in front of her. The second she saw me, her face went pale. "What are you doing here?" I folded my arms. "I was about to ask you the same thing, sweetheart." She swallowed hard, glancing around like she was checking for an escape route, but there wasn't one. "You want to tell me how long you've been screwing him?" I asked. Lisa's lips pressed together, then slowly her face changed. The guilt vanished, the fear disappeared, and in its place, something else, something cold. "You were never supposed to find out," she said, her voice calm. I took a step closer, rage boiling under my skin. "And why's that?" Lisa sighed like I was exhausting her. "Because you never really mattered, did you?" Something inside me snapped. "Excuse me?" She tilted her head, looking at me the way a scientist looks at an insect under a microscope. "I picked you because you were safe. You weren't a risk. You were the kind of guy who would work, stay loyal, and keep my life easy." I stared at her, not believing what I was hearing. "You wanted kids," she continued. "I didn't. And let's be honest, you wouldn't have left me over it. You would have waited and waited and waited, thinking I'd change my mind." My fists clenched. She was right. I would have. Lisa took a step closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "You were never my future. You were my stability. And while you were sitting at home being a good little husband, I was out living my real life." I had never hit a woman in my life, and I wasn't about to start now. But the rage inside me was something I had never felt before. She smirked, actually smirked. "You want to know why I really married you?" I didn't answer. "Because you were easy to control," she said, voice dripping with amusement. "And, well, I had to get married to keep my inheritance. Daddy's rules." I felt my breath leave my lungs. Of course, her father, the rich, controlling beast who never thought I was good enough for his little girl. I had never been her choice. I had been her loophole. And then she dropped the final bomb. "You think I care about what you did?" She laughed. "Throwing me out? Ruining my affair? Please." She leaned in, eyes glinting. "You're about to lose more than just a wife. A chill ran down my spine. What the heck are you talking about? She smiled. I emptied our accounts before I left the house, every penny. I felt my stomach drop. And since my name is on everything, she shrugged. Well, guess you'll have to start over, won't you? My hands shook. My vision blurred with rage. She was right again. I had made everything joint, the house, the accounts, the business. I had trusted her completely. And now, she had taken everything. Lisa stepped past me, rolling her suitcase like this was just another day. I watched her go, my mind racing. I had lost. She had won, or so she thought. Because if Lisa wanted to play dirty, then I'd make damn sure she never forgot who she was playing against. Lisa thought she had won. She walked into that airport with my money, my trust, and 8 years of my life stuffed in her suitcase. She thought I'd do what I always did, sit back, take the hit, and let her walk away untouched. She had no fucking idea who she was dealing with. I wasn't the same man she had married. The fool she had strung along, lied to, used. Number she had built me into something else, and now she was going to regret every single second of it. I didn't go home. There was no point. She had drained our accounts, left me with nothing. But I had one advantage. Lisa was predictable. She thought she had it all figured out, thought she was smarter than me, thought she had planned for every possible outcome. That was her first mistake. Her second, underestimating how far I was willing to go. I made one stop before leaving the airport, a quick visit to a friend of mine, a guy who knew his way around digital footprints, the kind of guy you called when you needed to ruin someone without them even seeing it coming. It took him less than an hour to find everything I needed. Lisa had lied about more than just the affair. She had been funneling money out of our joint accounts for months, hiding it in an offshore account under a fake name, a name I now had full access to. And then there was the real kicker. The affair wasn't just an affair. Lisa had been playing a game far bigger than I had realized. She had been sleeping with her lover for years, sure, but she wasn't just a mistress. She was a business partner. The two of them had a little side hustle going on, fake medical bills, insurance fraud, under-the-table deals with patients who wanted prescriptions they shouldn't have. She wasn't just cheating, she was committing felonies. And lucky for me, I had all the proof I needed. I waited exactly 24 hours before I made my move. Lisa had checked into a 5-star hotel, using the money she had stolen from me to buy herself a luxury escape. She thought she was free, thought she was finally rid of me. I changed that real fucking fast. Step 1, I emptied the offshore account, every last cent. Step 2, I sent an anonymous tip to the authorities, detailing every single piece of fraud Lisa and her lover had been running. Bank statements, transaction records, even a few recorded phone calls I had managed to dig up from our shared home devices. Step 3, I called her. She answered on the first ring. You really should have changed your number, I said. Silence. Then, what the fucking do you want? I smiled. Oh, I just wanted to check in, see how you're enjoying your hotel stay. Her breathing hitched. She hadn't told me where she was staying. Let me guess, I continued. Room service? Expensive champagne? Living it up with my money? Lisa's voice turned sharp. You need to get over it, okay? You lost. Move the fuck on. I chuckled. Oh, sweetheart, you really think this is over? She hesitated. Good. Go ahead, try to check your bank account, I said. See how much is left. There was a pause, then the sound of frantic tapping on her phone screen, and then a sharp intake of breath. You son of a... Careful, I warned. Wouldn't want to say anything you'll regret. You stole from me, she hissed. That money was mine. I laughed. That money was ours, and now it's mine again. Funny how that works. She was seething. I could hear it in her breathing, in the way she struggled to keep herself from screaming at me through the phone. You think this is funny? She spat. I think it's hilarious, I said. But what's really going to be funny is what happens next. Silence. Then, what the fuck do you want? I smiled. Oh, I just wanted to check in, see how you're enjoying your hotel stay. Her breathing hitched. She hadn't told me where she was staying. Let me guess, I continued. Room service? Expensive champagne? Living it up with my money. Lisa's voice turned sharp. You need to get over it, okay? You lost. Move the fucking on. I chuckled. Oh, sweetheart, you really think this is over? She hesitated. Good. Go ahead. Try to check your bank account, I said. See how much is left. There was a pause, then the sound of frantic tapping on her phone screen, and then a sharp intake of breath. You son of a... Careful, I warned. Wouldn't want to say anything you'll regret. You stole from me, she hissed. That money was mine. I laughed. That money was ours. And now, it's mine again. Funny how that works. She was seething. I could hear it in her breathing, in the way she struggled to keep herself from screaming at me through the phone. You think this is funny? She spat. I think it's hilarious, I said. But what's really going to be funny is what happens next. Next, she echoed, her voice wary. Well, sweetheart, I said, dragging the word out like it was poison. I hope you don't have any plans for the next few years, because I just sent your little business plan to some very important people, and let's just say, they're not big fans of fraud. Silence. A long, heavy silence, and then, you're lying. Guess you'll find out soon enough, I said, glancing at my watch. Should be any minute now. Right on cue, I heard the sound of distant sirens through the phone. Lisa sucked in a sharp breath. You bapa, she whispered. I told you, I said, voice calm. You don't get to win this time. Then I hung up, and less than 5 minutes later, my phone buzzed with the news alert. Breaking, local nurse and accomplice. Arrested in multi-million-dollar insurance scandal, I smiled. Checkmate. Lisa thought she was untouchable, thought she could walk away from me, from the life she built on my back, without a scratch. Now she was being dragged out of a luxury hotel in handcuffs. I watched the live news footage from the comfort of my truck parked across the street. Lisa's face was pale, her perfect mask cracking as the cameras flashed. She wasn't smirking now. I stepped out of my truck just as she was being shoved into the back of a police cruiser. She saw me. Our eyes met, and for the first time since this whole nightmare started, I saw it. Real fear. I smiled and gave her a little wave. She lunged forward, but the officers held her back. You did this? She screamed. You fucking did this to me? I just shrugged. She had done it to herself. Lisa's trial was a spectacle. The media ate it up. Respected nurse caught in massive fraud scheme was the headline of the month. But the best part? Her lover threw her under the bus the second he got the chance. He took a plea deal, painted Lisa as the mastermind behind the operation, said she had coerced him into everything, lied through his teeth just to save his own skin. She looked stunned when he testified against her, like she had actually believed he loved her. I almost felt bad for her. Almost. But then I remembered the way she had looked at me in that airport, like I was nothing, like I had never mattered. Lisa was sentenced to 15 years, no parole, and just like that she was gone. I rebuilt my life. It took time. The money I had taken back helped, but I had to start over from scratch. The house was gone, sold off to cover Lisa's legal debts, but I didn't care. I was free. Meredith, my ex-wife's lover's ex-wife, called me a few months later. She was doing well. She had gotten a great divorce settlement, moved to a new city. We kept in touch. One night she sent me a message. Just heard from an old friend. Lisa isn't doing too well in prison. Guess she finally realized she's not the smartest person in the room anymore. I read the message twice, then laughed. Lisa had spent years playing games, thinking she was untouchable. Now she was just another inmate, another forgotten name. And me? I was finally free.